Welcome to the Steady Word. This is the Book of Leviticus. Let us begin. Now the Lord called to Moses and spoke to him from the tabernacle of meeting. He said, "Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when any one of you brings an offering to the Lord, you shall bring your offering from the livestock, from the herd, or from the flock. If his offering is a burnt sacrifice of the herd, he shall offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own free will at the door of the tabernacle of meeting before the Lord. He shall put his hand on the head of the burnt offering, and it will be accepted on his behalf to make atonement for him. He shall kill the bull before the Lord. The priest, Aaron's sons, shall bring the blood and sprinkle it all around on the altar at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. He shall skin the burnt offering and cut it into its pieces. The sons of Aaron the priest shall put fire on the altar and lay the wood in order on the fire. The priests, Aaron's sons, shall lay the parts, the head, and the fat in order on the wood that is on the fire on the altar. He shall wash the entrails and the legs with water. The priest shall burn all of it on the altar as a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. If his offering is from the flocks, from the sheep, or from the goats, as a burnt sacrifice, he shall bring a male without blemish. He shall kill it on the north side of the altar before the Lord. The priests, Aaron's sons, shall sprinkle its blood all around on the altar. He shall cut it into its pieces with its head and its fat. The priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire on the altar. He shall wash the entrails and the legs with water. The priest shall bring all of it and burn it on the altar. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. If the burnt sacrifice for his offering to the Lord is from birds, he shall bring his offering from turtle doves or young pigeons. The priest shall bring it to the altar. He shall wring off its head and burn it on the altar. Its blood shall be drained out at the side of the altar. He shall remove its crop with its feathers and cast it beside the altar on the east side in the place for ashes. He shall split it at its wings, but shall not divide it completely. The priest shall burn it on the altar on the wood that is on the fire. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. Leviticus, chapter 2. When anyone brings a grain offering to the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour. He shall pour oil on it and put frankincense on it. He shall bring it to Aaron's sons, the priest. The priest shall take from it his handful of fine flour and oil, with all the frankincense. He shall burn this as a memorial portion on the altar, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. The rest of the grain offering shall belong to Aaron and his sons. It is most holy of the offerings made by fire to the Lord. If you bring a grain offering baked in the oven, it shall be of fine flour, unleavened cakes mixed with oil, or unleavened wafers anointed with oil. If your offering is a grain offering baked in a pan, it shall be of fine flour, unleavened, mixed with oil. You shall break it in pieces and pour oil on it. It is a grain offering. If your offering is a grain offering baked in a covered pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. You shall bring the grain offering that is made of these things to the Lord. When it is presented to the priest, he shall bring it to the altar. The priest shall take from the grain, offering a memorial portion, and burn it on the altar. It is an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. The rest of the grain offering shall belong to Aaron and his sons. It is most holy of the offerings made by fire to the Lord. No grain offering which you bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven. For you shall burn no leaven, nor any honey, in any offering to the Lord made by fire. As for the offering of the firstfruits, you shall offer them to the Lord, but they shall not be burned on the altar as a sweet aroma. Every offering of your grain offering you shall season with salt. You shall not allow the salt of the covenant of your God to be lacking from your grain offering. With all your offerings you shall offer salt. If you offer a grain offering of your firstfruits to the Lord, you shall offer for the grain offering of your firstfruits green heads of grain, roasted on the fire, grain beaten from full heads. You shall put oil on it and lay frankincense on it. It is a grain offering. Then the priest shall burn the memorial portion, part of its beaten grain and part of its oil, with all the frankincense, as an offering made by fire to the Lord. Leviticus chapter 3. If his offering is a sacrifice of a peace offering, and if he offers it from the herd, whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord. He shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Aaron's sons, the priest, shall sprinkle the blood all around on the altar. From the sacrifice of the peace offering, he shall offer an offering made by fire to the Lord. The fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys, he shall remove. Then Aaron's sons shall burn it on the altar, upon the burnt sacrifice that is on the wood on the fire. It is an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. If his offering is from the flocks as a sacrifice of a peace offering to the Lord, whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. If he offers a lamb for his offering, then he shall offer it before the Lord. He shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and kill it before the tabernacle of meeting. Aaron's sons shall sprinkle its blood all around on the altar. From the sacrifice of the peace offering, he shall offer as an offering made by fire to the Lord its fat. The whole fat tail he shall remove close to the backbone, and the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver, above the kidneys, he shall remove. Then the priest shall burn it on the altar as food, an offering made by fire to the Lord. If his offering is a goat, then he shall offer it before the Lord. He shall lay his hand on its head and kill it before the tabernacle of meeting. Aaron's sons shall sprinkle its blood all around on the altar. From it he shall offer as his offering, an offering made by fire to the Lord. The fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys, he shall remove. The priest shall burn them on the altar as food, an offering made by fire for a sweet aroma. All the fat is the Lord's. This shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generations, in all your dwellings. You shall eat neither fat nor blood. If he brings a lamb as his sin offering, he shall bring a female without blemish. He shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering and kill it as a sin offering at the place where they kill the burnt offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering. He shall pour all the remaining blood at the base of the altar. He shall remove all its fat, as the fat of the lamb is removed from the sacrifice of the peace offerings. The priest shall burn it on the altar, according to the offerings made by fire to the Lord. So the priest shall make atonement for his sin that he has committed, and it shall be forgiven him. Leviticus chapter 5. If a person sins by hearing a public call to testify, and is a witness, whether he has seen or known of the matter, and does not tell it, then he bears guilt. Or if a person touches anything unclean, whether it is the carcass of an unclean beast, or the carcass of unclean livestock, or the carcass of unclean creeping things, and he is unaware of it, yet he is unclean and guilty. Or if he touches human uncleanness, whatever uncleanness with which a person may be defiled, and he is unaware of it, but when he realizes it, then he is guilty. Or if a person swears, speaking thoughtlessly with his lips, to do evil or to do good, whatever it is that a person may pronounce by an oath, and he is unaware of it, but when he realizes it, then he shall be guilty in any of these matters. When he is guilty in any of these matters, he shall confess that he has sinned in that thing. He shall bring his trespass offering to the Lord for his sin which he has committed, a female from the flock, a lamb or a kid of the goats, as a sin offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin. If he is not able to bring a lamb, then he shall bring to the Lord, for his trespass which he has committed, 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, one as a sin offering, and the other as a burnt offering. He shall bring them to the priest, who shall offer that which is for the sin offering first. He shall wring off its head from its neck, but shall not divide it completely. He shall sprinkle some of the blood of the sin offering on the side of the altar, and the rest of the blood shall be drained out at the base of the altar. It is a sin offering. Then he shall offer the second as a burnt offering, according to the prescribed manner. So the priest shall make atonement for him for his sin, which he has committed, and it shall be forgiven him. But if he is not able to bring 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, then he who sinned shall bring for his offering 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a sin offering. He shall put no oil on it, nor shall he put frankincense on it, for it is a sin offering. Then he shall bring it to the priest, and the priest shall take his handful of it as a memorial portion and burn it on the altar, according to the offerings made by fire to the Lord. It is a sin offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin that he has committed in any of these matters, and it shall be forgiven him. The rest shall be the priest's as a grain offering. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, If a person commits a trespass and sins unintentionally in regard to the holy things of the Lord, then he shall bring to the Lord as his trespass, offering a ram without blemish from the flocks, with your valuation in shekels of silver, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, as a trespass offering. He shall make restitution for the harm that he has done in regard to the holy thing, and shall add 1/5 to it, and give it to the priest. So the priest shall make atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering, and it shall be forgiven him. If a person sins and commits any of these things which are forbidden to be done by the commandments of the Lord, though he does not know it, yet he is guilty and shall bear his iniquity, he shall bring to the priest a ram without blemish from the flock, with your valuation, as a trespass offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him regarding his ignorance, in which he erred and did not know it, and it shall be forgiven him. It is a trespass offering. He has certainly trespassed against the Lord. Leviticus chapter 6. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, If a person sins and commits a trespass against the Lord, by lying to his neighbor about what was delivered to him for safekeeping, or about a pledge, or by robbery, or if he has extorted from his neighbor, or if he has found what was lost and lies concerning it, and swears falsely, in any one of these things that a person may do in which he sins, then it shall be that he is guilty, and shall restore what he has stolen, or what he has extorted, or the deposit which was committed to him, or the lost thing which he found, or all that about which he has sworn falsely. He shall restore it in full, and shall add 1/5 more to it, and give it to the one to whom it belongs, on the day of his trespass offering. And he shall bring his trespass offering to the Lord, a ram without blemish from the flock, with your valuation, as a trespass offering to the priest. So the priest shall make atonement for him before the Lord, and he shall be forgiven for any one of these things that he may have done in which he trespasses. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Command Aaron and his sons, saying, This is the law of the burnt offering. The burnt offering shall be on the hearth on the altar all night until morning, and the fire of the altar shall be kept burning on it. The priest shall put on his linen garment and his linen trousers on his body. He shall take up the ashes of the burnt offering, which the fire has consumed on the altar, and put them beside the altar. Then he shall take off his garments, put on other garments, and carry the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. And the fire on the altar shall be kept burning on it. It shall not be put out. The priest shall burn wood on it every morning, and lay the burnt offering in order on it. He shall burn on it the fat of the peace offerings. A fire shall always be burning on the altar. It shall never go out. This is the law of the grain offering. The sons of Aaron shall offer it on the altar before the Lord. He shall take from it his handful of fine flour of the grain offering, with its oil and all the frankincense which is on the grain offering, and shall burn it on the altar as a sweet aroma, a memorial to the Lord. The remainder of it Aaron and his sons shall eat. With unleavened bread it shall be eaten in a holy place. In the court of the tabernacle of meeting they shall eat it. It shall not be baked with leaven. I have given it to them as their portion of my offerings made by fire. It is most holy, like the sin offering and the trespass offering. All the males among the children of Aaron may eat it. It shall be a statute forever in your generations, concerning the offerings made by fire to the Lord. Everyone who touches them must be holy. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, This is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they shall offer to the Lord on the day when he is anointed. 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a daily grain offering, half of it in the morning and half of it at night. It shall be made in a pan with oil. When it is mixed, you shall bring it in. The baked pieces of the grain offering you shall offer for a sweet aroma to the Lord. The priest from among his sons, who is anointed in his place, shall offer it. It is a statute forever to the Lord. It shall be wholly burned. For every grain offering for the priest shall be wholly burned. It shall not be eaten. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, This is the law of the sin offering. In the place where the burnt offering is killed, the sin offering shall be killed before the Lord. It is most holy. The priest who offers it for sin shall eat it. In a holy place it shall be eaten, in the court of the tabernacle of meeting. Everyone who touches its flesh must be holy, and when its blood is sprinkled on any garment, you shall wash that on which it was sprinkled in a holy place. But the earthen vessel in which it is boiled shall be broken. If it is boiled in a bronze pot, it shall be scoured and rinsed in water. All the males among the priests may eat it. It is most holy. But no sin offering from which any of the blood is brought into the tabernacle of meeting to make atonement in the holy place shall be eaten. It shall be burned in the fire. Leviticus chapter 7. This is the law of the trespass offering. It is most holy. In the place where they kill the burnt offering, they shall kill the trespass offering. Its blood shall be sprinkled all around on the altar. He shall offer from it all its fat, the fat tail, and the fat that covers the entrails, the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys. The priest shall burn them on the altar as an offering made by fire to the Lord. It is a trespass offering. Every male among the priests may eat it. It shall be eaten in a holy place. It is most holy. The trespass offering is like the sin offering. There is one law for them both. The priest who makes atonement with it shall have it. And the priest who offers anyone's burnt offering shall have the skin of the burnt offering which he has offered. Every grain offering that is baked in the oven, and all that is prepared in a covered pan or in a pan, shall belong to the priest who offers it. Every grain offering mixed with oil or dry shall belong to all the sons of Aaron, to one as much as the other. This is the law of the sacrifice of peace offerings, which he shall offer to the Lord. If he offers it for a thanksgiving, then he shall offer with the sacrifice of thanksgiving unleavened cakes mixed with oil, unleavened wafers anointed with oil, and cakes of blended flour mixed with oil. Besides the cakes, he shall offer leavened bread with the sacrifice of thanksgiving of his peace offering. From it he shall offer 1 cake from each offering as a heave offering to the Lord. It shall belong to the priest who sprinkles the blood of the peace offering. The flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offering for thanksgiving shall be eaten the same day it is offered. He shall not leave any of it until morning. But if the sacrifice of his offering is a vow or a voluntary offering, it shall be eaten the same day that he offers his sacrifice. On the next day the remainder of it also may be eaten. The remainder of the flesh of the sacrifice on the 3rd day shall be burned with fire. If any of the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offering is eaten at all on the 3rd day, it shall not be accepted, nor shall it be imputed to him who offers it. It shall be an abomination to him, and the person who eats of it shall bear guilt. The flesh that touches any unclean thing shall not be eaten. It shall be burned with fire. As for the clean flesh, all who are clean may eat of it. But the person who eats the flesh of the sacrifice of the peace offering that belongs to the Lord while he is unclean, that person shall be cut off from his people. Moreover, the person who touches any unclean thing, such as human uncleanness, an unclean animal, or any unclean, abominable thing, and who eats the flesh of the sacrifice of the peace offering that belongs to the Lord, that person shall be cut off from his people. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, You shall not eat any fat of ox or sheep or goat, the fat of an animal that dies naturally, and the fat of what is torn by wild beasts. may be used in any other way, but you shall by no means eat it. For whoever eats the fat of the animal from which men offer an offering, made by fire to the Lord, the person who eats it shall be cut off from his people. Moreover, you shall not eat any blood in any of your dwellings, whether of bird or beast. Whoever eats any blood, that person shall be cut off from his people. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, He who offers the sacrifice of his peace offering to the Lord shall bring his offering to the Lord from the sacrifice of his peace offering. His own hands shall bring the offerings made by fire to the Lord. The fat with the breast he shall bring, that the breast may be waved as a wave offering before the Lord. The priest shall burn the fat on the altar, but the breast shall belong to Aaron and his sons. And the right thigh you shall give to the priest as a heave offering from the sacrifices of your peace offerings. He among the sons of Aaron who offers the blood of the peace offering, and the fat shall have the right thigh for his part. For the breast of the wave offering and the thigh of the heave offering I have taken from the children of Israel, from the sacrifices of their peace offerings, and have given them to Aaron the priest and to his sons from the children of Israel, by a statute forever. This is the portion of the anointing of Aaron and of the anointing of his sons, from the offerings made by fire to the Lord, on the day when Moses presented them to minister to the Lord as priests. The Lord commanded this to be given to them by the children of Israel, on the day that he anointed them, by a statute forever throughout their generations. This is the law of the burnt offering, the grain offering, the sin offering, the trespass offering, the consecrations, and the sacrifice of the peace offerings, which the Lord commanded Moses on Mount Sinai, on the day that he commanded the children of Israel to offer their offerings to the Lord in the wilderness of Sinai. Leviticus chapter 8. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Take Aaron and his sons with him, the garments, the anointing oil, a bull as the sin offering, 2 rams, and a basket of unleavened bread. Gather all the congregation together at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. So Moses did as the Lord commanded him, and the congregation was gathered together at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Moses said to the congregation, This is what the Lord commanded to be done. And Moses brought Aaron and his sons and washed them with water. He put the tunic on him, girded him with the sash, clothed him with the robe, and put the ephod on him. He girded him with the intricately woven band of the ephod, and with it tied the ephod on him. Then he put the breastplate on him, and he put the Urim and the Thummim in the breastplate. He put the turban on his head. On the turban, on its front, he put the golden plate, the holy crown, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then Moses took the anointing oil and anointed the tabernacle and all that was in it, and consecrated them. He sprinkled some of it on the altar 7 times, anointed the altar and all its utensils, and the laver and its base, to consecrate them. And he poured some of the anointing oil on Aaron's head and anointed him, to consecrate him. Moses brought Aaron's sons and clothed them with tunics, girded them with sashes, and put hats on them, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He brought the bull for the sin offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the bull for the sin offering. Moses killed it. Then he took the blood and put some of it on the horns of the altar all around with his finger, and purified the altar. He poured the blood at the base of the altar, and consecrated it, to make atonement for it. He took all the fat that was on the entrails, the fatty lobe attached to the liver, the 2 kidneys and their fat, and Moses burned them on the altar. But the bull, its hide, its flesh, and its offal, he burned with fire outside the camp, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then he brought the ram for the burnt offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram. Moses killed it. Then he sprinkled the blood all around on the altar. He cut the ram into pieces, and Moses burned the head, the pieces, and the fat. He washed the entrails and the legs in water, and Moses burned the whole ram on the altar. It was a burnt sacrifice for a sweet aroma, an offering made by fire to the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then he brought the second ram, the ram of consecration. Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram, and Moses killed it. Moses took some of its blood and put it on the tip of Aaron's right ear, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. Then he brought Aaron's sons. Moses put some of the blood on the tip of their right ear, on the thumb of their right hand, and on the big toe of their right foot. And Moses sprinkled the blood all around on the altar. He took the fat tail, all the fat that was on the entrails, the fatty lobe attached to the liver, the 2 kidneys and their fat, and the right thigh, from the basket of unleavened bread that was before the Lord. He took 1 unleavened cake, a cake of bread anointed with oil, and 1 wafer, and put them on the fat and on the right thigh. And he put all these in Aaron's hands and in his sons' hands, and waved them as a wave offering before the Lord. Then Moses took them from their hands and burned them on the altar, on the burnt offering. They were consecration offerings for a sweet aroma. It was an offering made by fire to the Lord. Moses took the breast and waved it as a wave offering before the Lord. It was Moses' portion of the ram of consecration, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then Moses took some of the anointing oil and some of the blood which was on the altar, and sprinkled it on Aaron, on his garments, on his sons, and on the garments of his sons with him. And he consecrated Aaron, his garments, his sons, and the garments of his sons with him. Moses said to Aaron and to his sons, "Boil the flesh at the door of the tabernacle of meeting, and eat it there with the bread that is in the basket of consecration, as I commanded, saying, Aaron and his sons shall eat it. What remains of the flesh and of the bread you shall burn with fire, and you shall not go outside the door of the tabernacle of meeting for 7 days, until the days of your consecration are ended. For 7 days he shall consecrate you, as he has done this day, so the Lord has commanded to do, to make atonement for you. Therefore you shall stay at the door of the tabernacle of meeting, day and night, for 7 days, and keep the charge of the Lord, so that you may not die. For so I have been commanded." So Aaron and his sons did all the things that the Lord had commanded by the hand of Moses. Leviticus chapter 9. It came to pass on the 8th day that Moses called Aaron and his sons, and the elders of Israel. And he said to Aaron, "Take for yourself a young bull as a sin offering, and a ram as a burnt offering, without blemish, and offer them before the Lord. And to the children of Israel you shall speak, saying, Take a male goat as a sin offering, a calf and a lamb, both of the first year, without blemish, as a burnt offering, also a bull and a ram as peace offerings, to sacrifice before the Lord, and a grain offering mixed with oil. For today the Lord will appear to you." So they brought what Moses commanded before the tabernacle of meeting, and all the congregation drew near and stood before the Lord. Then Moses said, "This is the thing which the Lord commanded you to do, and the glory of the Lord will appear to you." And Moses said to Aaron, "Go to the altar, offer your sin offering and your burnt offering, and make atonement for yourself and for the people. Offer the offering of the people and make atonement for them, as the Lord commanded." Aaron went to the altar and killed the calf of the sin offering which was for himself. The sons of Aaron brought the blood to him, and he dipped his finger in the blood, put it on the horns of the altar, and poured the blood at the base of the altar. But the fat, the kidneys, and the fatty lobe from the liver of the sin offering he burned on the altar, as the Lord commanded Moses. The flesh and the hide he burned with fire outside the camp. Then he killed the burnt offering, and Aaron's sons presented the blood to him, which he sprinkled all around on the altar. They presented the burnt offering to him, with its pieces and head, and he burned them on the altar. He washed the entrails and the legs, and burned them with the burnt offering on the altar. Then he brought the people's offering. He took the goat which was the sin offering for the people, and killed it, and offered it for sin, like the first one. And he brought the burnt offering, and offered it according to the prescribed manner. Then he brought the grain offering, took a handful of it, and burned it on the altar, besides the burnt sacrifice of the morning. He also killed the bull and the ram, as sacrifices of peace offerings, which were for the people. Aaron's sons presented the blood to him, which he sprinkled all around on the altar. Then the fat of the bull and the ram, the fat tail, the fat that covers the entrails and the kidneys, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver, they put the fat on the breasts, and he burned the fat on the altar. But the breast and the right thigh Aaron waved as a wave offering before the Lord, as Moses commanded. Then Aaron lifted his hand toward the people and blessed them, and came down from offering the sin offering, the burnt offering, and the peace offerings. And Moses and Aaron went into the tabernacle of meeting, and came out and blessed the people. Then the glory of the Lord appeared to all the people. And fire came out from before the Lord, and consumed the burnt offering and the fat on the altar. When all the people saw it, they shouted and fell on their faces. Leviticus chapter 10. Then Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, each took his censer and put fire in it. They put incense on it and offered profane fire before the Lord, which he had not commanded them. So fire went out from the Lord and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. Moses said to Aaron, "This is what the Lord spoke, saying, 'By those who come near me, I must be regarded as holy, and before all the people I must be glorified.'" So Aaron held his peace. Then Moses called Mishael and Elzaphan, the sons of Uzziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said to them, "Come near, carry your brethren away from before the sanctuary out of the camp." So they went near and carried them by their tunics out of the camp, as Moses had said. And Moses said to Aaron and to Eleazar and Ithamar, his sons, "Do not uncover your heads nor tear your clothes, lest you die, and wrath come upon all the people. But let your brethren, the whole house of Israel, bewail the burning which the Lord has kindled. You shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of meeting, lest you die, for the anointing oil of the Lord is upon you." And they did according to the word of Moses. Then the Lord spoke to Aaron, saying, Do not drink wine or intoxicating drink, you nor your sons with you, when you go into the tabernacle of meeting, lest you die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, that you may distinguish between holy and unholy, and between unclean and clean, and that you may teach the children of Israel all the statutes which the Lord has spoken to them by the hand of Moses. And Moses spoke to Aaron and to Eleazar and Ithamar, his sons who were left. Take the grain offering that remains of the offerings made by fire to the Lord, and eat it without leaven beside the altar, for it is most holy. You shall eat it in a holy place, because it is your due and your son's due of the sacrifices made by fire to the Lord. For so I have been commanded. The breast of the wave offering and the thigh of the heave offering you shall eat in a clean place, you, your sons, and your daughters with you, for they are your due and your sons' due, which are given from the sacrifices of peace offerings of the children of Israel. The thigh of the heave offering and the breast of the wave offering they shall bring with the offerings of fat made by fire, to offer as a wave offering before the Lord. And it shall be yours and your sons with you, by a statute forever, as the Lord has commanded. Then Moses made careful inquiry about the goat of the sin offering, and there it was, burned up. And he was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, the sons of Aaron who were left, saying, Why have you not eaten the sin offering in the holy place, since it is most holy, and God has given it to you to bear the guilt of the congregation, to make atonement for them before the Lord? See, its blood was not brought inside the holy place. Indeed, you should have eaten it in the holy place, as I commanded. And Aaron said to Moses, Look, this day they have offered their sin offering and their burnt offering before the Lord, and such things have befallen me. If I had eaten the sin offering today, would it have been accepted in the sight of the Lord? So when Moses heard that, he was satisfied. Leviticus chapter 11. Now the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying to them, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, These are the animals which you may eat among all the animals that are on the earth. Among the animals, whatever divides the hoof, having cloven hooves and chewing the cud, that you may eat. Nevertheless, these you shall not eat among those that chew the cud, or those that have cloven hooves. The camel, because it chews the cud, but does not have cloven hooves, is unclean to you. The rock hyrax, because it chews the cud but does not have cloven hooves, is unclean to you. The hare, because it chews the cud but does not have cloven hooves, is unclean to you. And the swine, though it divides the hoof, having cloven hooves, yet does not chew the cud, is unclean to you. Their flesh you shall not eat, and their carcasses you shall not touch. They are unclean to you. These you may eat of all that are in the waters, whatever has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, that you may eat. But all in the seas, or in the rivers that do not have fins and scales, all that move in the waters, and any living thing which is in the waters, they are an abomination to you. They shall be an abomination to you. You shall not eat their flesh, but you shall regard their carcasses as an abomination. Whatever does not have fins and scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination to you. And these you shall regard as an abomination among the birds. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle, the vulture, the buzzard, the kite, and the falcon after its kind, every raven after its kind, the ostrich, the short-eared owl, the seagull, and the hawk after its kind, the little owl, the fisher owl, and the screech owl, the white owl, the jackdaw, and the carrion vulture, the stork, the heron after its kind, the hoopoe, and the bat. All flying insects that creep on all fours shall be an abomination to you. Yet these you may eat of every flying insect that creeps on all fours, which has jointed legs above its feet, with which to leap on the earth. These you may eat, the locust after its kind, the destroying locust after its kind, the cricket after its kind, and the grasshopper after its kind. But all other flying insects which have 4 feet shall be an abomination to you. By these you shall become unclean. Whoever touches the carcass of any of them shall be unclean until evening. Whoever carries part of the carcass of any of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. The carcass of any animal which divides the hoof, but is not cloven-footed, or does not chew the cud, is unclean to you. Everyone who touches it shall be unclean. And whatever goes on its paws, among all kinds of animals that go on all fours, those are unclean to you. Whoever touches their carcass shall be unclean until evening. Whoever carries the carcass of any of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. They are unclean to you. These also shall be unclean to you among the creeping things that creep on the earth, the mole, the mouse, and the large lizard after its kind, the gecko, the monitor lizard, the sand reptile, the sand lizard, and the chameleon. These are unclean to you among all that creep. Whoever touches them when they are dead shall be unclean until evening. Anything on which any of them falls when they are dead shall be unclean. Whether it is any item of wood or clothing or skin or sack, whatever item it is in which any work is done, it shall be put in water, and it shall be unclean until evening. Then it shall be clean. Any earthen vessel into which any of them falls you shall break, and whatever is in it shall be unclean. In such a vessel, any edible food on which water falls becomes unclean, and any drink that may be drunk from it becomes unclean. Everything on which a part of their carcass falls shall be unclean. Whether it is an oven or cooking stove, it shall be broken down. They are unclean, and shall be unclean to you. Nevertheless, a spring or a cistern, a gathering of water, shall be clean, but whoever touches their carcass shall be unclean. If a part of any such carcass falls on any planting seed which is to be sown, it remains clean. But if water is put on the seed, and a part of any such carcass falls on it, it shall be unclean to you. If any animal which you may eat dies, whoever touches its carcass shall be unclean until evening. Whoever eats of its carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. Whoever carries its carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. Every creeping thing that creeps on the earth shall be an abomination. It shall not be eaten. Whatever crawls on its belly, whatever goes on all fours, or whatever has many feet among all creeping things that creep on the earth, these you shall not eat, for they are an abomination. You shall not make yourselves unclean with any creeping thing that creeps, nor shall you make yourselves unclean by them, lest you be defiled by them. For I am the Lord your God. You shall therefore consecrate yourselves, and you shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall you defile yourselves with any creeping thing that creeps on the earth. For I am the Lord who brings you up out of the land of Egypt to be your God. You shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. This is the law of the animals. and the birds, and every living creature that moves in the waters, and every creature that creeps on the earth, to distinguish between the unclean and the clean, and between the animal that may be eaten and the animal that may not be eaten. Leviticus chapter 12. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, If a woman has conceived and borne a male child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. As in the days of her customary impurity, she shall be unclean. On the 8th day the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. She shall then continue in the blood of her purification 33 days. She shall not touch any hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purification are fulfilled. But if she bears a female child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her customary impurity. She shall continue in the blood of her purification 66 days. When the days of her purification are fulfilled, whether for a son or a daughter, she shall bring to the priest at the door of the tabernacle of meeting a lamb for the first year as a burnt offering, and a young pigeon, or a turtle dove as a sin offering. Then he shall offer it before the Lord, and make atonement for her, and she shall be clean from the flow of her blood. This is the law for her who is born a male or a female. If she is not able to bring a lamb, then she may bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, one as a burnt offering and the other as a sin offering. So the priest shall make atonement for her, and she shall be clean. Leviticus chapter 13. Now the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, When a person has on the skin of his body a swelling, a scab, or a bright spot, and it becomes on the skin of his body like a leprous sore, then he shall be brought to Aaron the priest, or to one of his sons the priest. The priest shall examine the sore on the skin of the body. If the hair on the sore has turned white, and the sore appears to be deeper than the skin of his body, it is a leprous sore. Then the priest shall examine him and pronounce him unclean. If the bright spot on the skin of his body is white, and does not appear to be deeper than the skin, and its hair has not turned white, then the priest shall isolate the one who has the sore 7 days. The priest shall examine him on the 7th day. If indeed the sore appears as it was, and the sore has not spread on the skin, then the priest shall isolate him another 7 days. The priest shall examine him again on the 7th day. If the sore has faded and has not spread on the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is a scab. He shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scab should spread on the skin after he has been pronounced clean, then he shall be examined again by the priest. If the priest sees that the scab has indeed spread on the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is leprosy. When the leprous sore is on a person, then he shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall examine him. If there is a white swelling on the skin that has turned the hair white, and there is raw flesh in the swelling, it is an old leprosy on the skin of his body. The priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not isolate him, for he is unclean. If leprosy breaks out all over the skin and covers all the skin of the one who has the sore from his head to his feet, wherever the priest looks, then the priest shall examine him. And indeed, if the leprosy has covered all his body, he shall pronounce him clean who has the sore. It is all turned white. He is clean. But when raw flesh appears on him, he shall be unclean. The priest shall examine the raw flesh and pronounce him unclean. For the raw flesh is unclean. It is leprosy. Or if the raw flesh changes and turns white again, then he shall come to the priest, and the priest shall examine him. If the sore has turned white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean who has the sore. He is clean. If the body develops a boil on its skin, and it heals, and in the place of the boil there is a white swelling or a bright spot, reddish white, then it shall be examined by the priest. If the priest sees it, and indeed it appears deeper than the skin, and its hair has turned white, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore that is broken out of the boil. But if the priest examines it, and indeed there is no white hair in it, and it is not deeper than the skin, and has faded, then the priest shall isolate him 7 days. If it spreads at all on the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore. But if the bright spot stays in one place and has not spread, it is the scar of the boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. Or if the body receives a burn on its skin by fire, and the raw flesh of the burn becomes a bright spot, reddish white or white, then the priest shall examine it. And if the hair of the bright spot has turned white, and it appears deeper than the skin, it is leprosy broken out in the burn. Therefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore. But if the priest examines it, and there is no white hair in the bright spot, and it is not deeper than the skin, but is faded, then the priest shall isolate him 7 days. And the priest shall examine him on the 7th day. If it is spread at all on the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore. But if the bright spot stays in one place and has not spread, it is the swelling from the burn, and the priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is the scar from the burn. If a man or woman has a sore on the head or the beard, then the priest shall examine the sore. And if it appears deeper than the skin, and there is in it thin yellow hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a scaly leprosy of the head or beard. But if the priest examines the scaly sore, and indeed it does not appear deeper than the skin, and there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall isolate the one who has the sore 7 days. And on the 7th day, the priest shall examine the sore. If the scaly sore has not spread, and there is no yellow hair in it, and the scaly sore does not appear deeper than the skin, then he shall shave himself, but shall not shave the scaly sore. And the priest shall isolate the one who has the scaly sore another 7 days. Then the priest shall examine the scaly sore on the 7th day. If the scaly sore has not spread on the skin and does not appear deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. He shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scaly sore spreads at all on the skin after he is pronounced clean, then the priest shall examine him. And indeed, if the scaly sore has spread on the skin, the priest shall not seek for yellow hair. He is unclean. But if the scaly sore appears to be at a standstill, and there is black hair grown up in it, the scaly sore has healed. He is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. If a man or a woman has bright spots on the skin of the body, white bright spots, then the priest shall examine them. And indeed, if the bright spots on the skin of their body are dull white, it is a white spot that grows on the skin. He is clean. If a man's hair has fallen from his head, he is bald, but he is clean. Or if his hair has fallen from his forehead, he is bald on the forehead, but he is clean. But if there is on the bald head or bald forehead a reddish white sore, It is leprosy breaking out on his bald head or his bald forehead. Then the priest shall examine it. And indeed, if the swelling of the sore is reddish white on his bald head or on his bald forehead, like leprosy on the skin of the body, then he is a leprous man. He is unclean. The priest shall pronounce him unclean. His sore is on his head. Now the leper on whom the sore is shall have his clothes torn and his head bare. He shall cover his mustache and cry, unclean, unclean. He shall be unclean. All the days he has the sore, he shall be unclean. He is unclean. He shall dwell alone. His dwelling shall be outside the camp. Also, if a garment has a leprous plague in it, whether it is a woolen garment or a linen garment, whether it is in the warp or woof of linen or wool, whether in leather or in anything made of leather, and if the plague is greenish or reddish in the garment or in the leather, whether in the warp or woof or in anything made of leather, it is a leprous plague and shall be shown to the priest. The priest shall examine the plague and isolate that which has the plague 7 days. And he shall examine the plague on the 7th day. If the plague has spread in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof, in the leather or in anything made of leather, the plague is an active leprosy. It is unclean. He shall therefore burn that garment in which is the plague, whether warp or woof, in wool or linen, or anything made of leather, for it is an active leprosy. The garment shall be burned in the fire. But if the priest examines it, and indeed the plague has not spread in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof, or in anything made of leather, then the priest shall command that they wash the thing in which is the plague, and he shall isolate it another 7 days. Then the priest shall examine the plague after it has been washed. And indeed, if the plague has not changed its color, though the plague has not spread, it is unclean. You shall burn it in the fire. It is eaten away on the inside, whether the damage is on the outside or on the inside. If the priest examines it, and indeed the plague has faded after it was washed, then he shall tear it out of the garment, out of the leather, or out of the warp or woof. But if it appears again in the garment, either in the warp or woof, or in anything made of leather, it is a spreading plague. You shall burn that in which is the plague with fire. Then the garment, either warp or woof, or whatever thing of leather it is, which you wash, and from which the plague departs, shall be washed a 2nd time, and shall be clean. This is the law of the leprous plague, in a garment of wool or linen, whether in the warp or woof, or in anything made of leather, to pronounce it clean or to pronounce it unclean. Leviticus chapter 14. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper for the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall go out of the camp, and the priest shall examine him. And indeed, if the leprosy is healed in the leper, then the priest shall command to take for him, who is to be cleansed, 2 living and clean birds, cedar wood, scarlet, and hyssop. And the priest shall command that one of the birds be killed in an earthen vessel over running water. As for the living bird, he shall take it, the cedar wood, and the scarlet, and the hyssop, and dip them and the living bird in the blood of the bird that was killed over the running water. He shall sprinkle it 7 times on him who is to be cleansed from the leprosy, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the living bird loose in the open field. He who is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes, shave off all his hair, and wash himself in water, that he may be clean. After that, he shall come into the camp, and shall stay outside his tent 7 days. But on the 7th day, he shall shave all the hair off his head, his beard, and his eyebrows. All his hair he shall shave off. He shall wash his clothes and wash his body in water, and he shall be clean. And on the 8th day he shall take 2 male lambs without blemish, 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish, 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, and 1 log of oil. The priest who makes him clean shall present the man who is to be made clean, and those things before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. And the priest shall take 1 male lamb and offer it as a trespass offering, and the log of oil, and wave them as a wave offering before the Lord. Then he shall kill the lamb in the place where he kills the sin offering and the burnt offering in a holy place. For as the sin offering is the priest, so is the trespass offering. It is most holy. The priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering and put it on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. And the priest shall take some of the log of oil and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. Then the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that is in his left hand, and shall sprinkle some of the oil with his finger 7 times before the Lord. And of the rest of the oil that is in his hand, the priest shall put some on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, on the blood of the trespass offering. The rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall put on the head of him who is to be cleansed. So the priest shall make atonement for him before the Lord. Then the priest shall offer the sin offering and make atonement for him who is to be cleansed from his uncleanness. Afterward, he shall kill the burnt offering, and the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the grain offering on the altar. So the priest shall make atonement for him, and he shall be clean. But if he is poor and cannot afford these things, then he shall take 1 male lamb as a trespass offering to be waved, to make atonement for him, 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, a log of oil, and 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to afford. One shall be a sin offering, and the other a burnt offering. He shall bring them on the 8th day for his cleansing to the priest, at the door of the tabernacle of meeting, before the Lord. And the priest shall take the lamb of the trespass offering, and the log of oil, and the priest shall wave them as a wave offering before the Lord. Then he shall kill the lamb of the trespass offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering and put it on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. And the priest shall pour some of the oil into the palm of his own left hand. Then the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before the Lord. And the priest shall put some of the oil that is in his hand on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, on the blood of the trespass offering. The rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall put on the head of him who is to be cleansed, to make atonement for him before the Lord. Then he shall offer one of the turtle doves, or young pigeons, such as he can afford, such as he is able to afford, one as a sin offering, and the other as a burnt offering with the grain offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him who is to be cleansed before the Lord. This is the law for one who has a leprous sore, who cannot afford the customary cleansing. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, When you have come into the land of Canaan, which I give you as a possession, and I put the leprous plague in a house in the land of your possession, and he who owns the house comes and tells the priest, saying, It seems to me that there is some plague in the house. Then the priest shall command that they empty the house, before the priest goes in to examine the plague, that all that is in the house may not be made unclean. And afterward the priest shall go in to examine the house. He shall examine the plague. And indeed, if the plague is on the walls of the house, with ingrained streaks, greenish or reddish, which appear to be deeper than the surface of the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house, to the door of the house, and shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again on the 7th day, and look. And indeed, if the plague has spread on the walls of the house, then the priest shall command that they remove the stones in which is the plague, and throw them into an unclean place outside the city. And he shall cause the house to be scraped inside all around. And the dust that they scrape off, they shall pour out in an unclean place outside the city. Then they shall take other stones and put them in the place of those stones. And he shall take other mortar and plaster the house. Now if the plague comes back and breaks out in the house after he has taken away the stones, and after he has scraped the house, and after it is plastered, then the priest shall come and look. And indeed, if the plague has spread in the house, it is an active leprosy in the house. It is unclean. And he shall break down the house, its stones, its timber, and all the mortar of the house. He shall carry them outside the city to an unclean place. Moreover, he who goes into the house at all while it is shut up shall be unclean until evening. And he who lies down in the house shall wash his clothes. He who eats in the house shall wash his clothes. But if the priest comes in and looks, and indeed the plague has not spread in the house after the house was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds, cedar wood, scarlet, and hyssop. And he shall kill one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water. He shall take the cedar wood, and the hyssop, and the scarlet, and the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the bird that was killed, and in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and the running water, with the living bird, the cedar wood, the hyssop, and the scarlet. Then he shall let the living bird loose outside the city in the open field. So he shall make atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is the law for any leprous sore and scale, for the leprosy of a garment and of a house, for a swelling and a scab and a bright spot, to teach when it is unclean and when it is clean. This is the law of leprosy. Leviticus chapter 15. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When any man has a discharge from his body, his discharge is unclean, and this shall be his uncleanness in regard to his discharge. Whether his body runs with his discharge, or his body is stopped up by his discharge, it is his uncleanness. Every bed on which he, who has the discharge, lies, shall be unclean. Everything on which he sits shall be unclean. Whoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until evening. He who sits on anything on which he who has the discharge sat shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until evening. He who touches the body of him who has the discharge shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until evening. If he who has the discharge spits on one who is clean, then he shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until evening. Any saddle on which he who has the discharge rides shall be unclean. Whoever touches anything that was under him shall be unclean until evening. He who carries any of those things shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until evening. And whomever he who has the discharge touches and has not rinsed his hands in water shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until evening. The vessel of earthenware that he who has the discharge touches shall be broken. Every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. When he who has the discharge is cleansed of his discharge, then he shall count for himself 7 days for his cleansing. He shall wash his clothes and bathe his body in running water, and shall be clean. On the 8th day he shall take for himself 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, and come before the Lord to the door of the tabernacle of meeting, and give them to the priest. Then the priest shall offer them, one as a sin offering, and the other as a burnt offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him before the Lord, because of his discharge. If a man has an emission of semen, then he shall wash all his body in water, and be unclean until evening. Any garment and any leather on which there is semen shall be washed with water, and be unclean until evening. Also, when a woman lies with a man, and there is an emission of semen, they shall bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. If a woman has a discharge, and the discharge from her body is blood, she shall be set apart 7 days. Whoever touches her shall be unclean until evening. Everything that she lies on during her impurity shall be unclean. Everything that she sits on shall be unclean. Whoever touches her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. Whoever touches anything that she sat on shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. If anything is on her bed, or on anything on which she sits when he touches it, he shall be unclean until evening. If a man lies with her at all so that her impurity is on him, he shall be unclean 7 days. Every bed on which he lies shall be unclean. If a woman has a discharge of blood for many days other than at the time of her customary impurity, or if it runs beyond her usual time of impurity, all the days of her unclean discharge shall be as the days of her customary impurity. She shall be unclean. Every bed on which she lies all the days of her discharge shall be to her as the bed of her impurity. Everything on which she sits shall be unclean, as the uncleanness of her impurity. Whoever touches these things shall be unclean. He shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. But if she is cleansed of her discharge, then she shall count for herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. On the 8th day she shall take for herself 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, and bring them to the priest at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then the priest shall offer one as a sin offering, and the other as a burnt offering. So the priest shall make atonement for her before the Lord, for the discharge of her uncleanness. Thus you shall separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, lest they die in their uncleanness, when they defile my tabernacle, that is among them. This is the law for one who has a discharge, and for him who emits semen and is unclean by it, and for her who is indisposed because of her customary impurity, and for one who has a discharge, either man or woman, and for him who lies with her, who is unclean. Leviticus chapter 16. Now the Lord spoke to Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron, when they offered profane fire before the Lord, and died. And the Lord said to Moses, "Tell Aaron your brother not to come at just any time into the holy place, inside the veil, before the mercy seat which is on the ark, lest he die. For I will appear in the cloud above the mercy seat. Thus Aaron shall come into the holy place with the blood of a young bull as a sin offering, and of a ram as a burnt offering. He shall put on the holy linen tunic and the linen trousers on his body. He shall be girded with a linen sash, and with the linen turban he shall be attired. These are holy garments. Therefore he shall wash his body in water, and put them on. And he shall take from the congregation of the children of Israel 2 kids of the goats as a sin offering, and 1 ram as a burnt offering. Aaron shall offer the bull as a sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house. He shall take the 2 goats and present them before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then Aaron shall cast lots for the 2 goats, 1 lot for the Lord, and the other lot for the scapegoat. Aaron shall bring the goat on which the Lord's lot fell, and offer it as a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Lord, to make atonement upon it, and to let it go as the scapegoat into the wilderness. Aaron shall bring the bull of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house. He shall kill the bull as the sin offering, which is for himself. Then he shall take a censer full of burning coals of fire from the altar before the Lord, with his hands full of sweet incense beaten fine, and bring it inside the veil. He shall put the incense on the fire before the Lord, that the cloud of incense may cover the mercy seat that is on the testimony, lest he die. He shall take some of the blood of the bull and sprinkle it with his finger on the mercy seat on the east side. And before the mercy seat, he shall sprinkle some of the blood with his finger 7 times. Then he shall kill the goat of the sin offering, which is for the people, and bring its blood inside the veil. He shall do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bull, and sprinkle it on the mercy seat and before the mercy seat. So he shall make atonement for the holy place, because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, and because of their transgressions, for all their sins. And so he shall do for the tabernacle of meeting, which remains among them, in the midst of their uncleanness. There shall be no man in the tabernacle of meeting when he goes in to make atonement in the holy place, until he comes out, and he has made atonement for himself, for his household, and for all the assembly of Israel. Then he shall go out to the altar that is before the Lord, and make atonement for it. He shall take some of the blood of the bull and some of the blood of the goat, and put it on the horns of the altar all around. And he shall sprinkle some of the blood on it with his finger 7 times, cleanse it, and consecrate it from the uncleanness of the children of Israel. When he has made an end of atoning for the holy place, the tabernacle of meeting, and the altar, he shall bring the live goat. Aaron shall lay both his hands on the head of the live goat, and confess over it all the iniquities of the children of Israel, and all their transgressions concerning all their sins, putting them on the head of the goat. he shall send it away into the wilderness by the hand of a suitable man. The goat shall bear on itself all their iniquities to an uninhabited land, and he shall release the goat in the wilderness. Then Aaron shall come into the tabernacle of meeting. He shall take off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the holy place, and shall leave them there. And he shall wash his body with water in a holy place. Put on his garments, come out, and offer his burnt offering and the burnt offering of the people, and make atonement for himself and for the people. The fat of the sin offering he shall burn on the altar. And he who released the scapegoat shall wash his clothes and bathe his body in water. Afterward he may come into the camp. The bull for the sin offering and the goat for the sin offering, whose blood was brought in to make atonement in the holy place, shall be carried outside the camp. They shall burn in the fire their hides, their flesh, and their offal. Then he who burns them shall wash his clothes and bathe his body in water. Afterward he may come into the camp. This shall be a statute forever for you. In the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, you shall afflict your souls and do no work at all, whether a native of your own country or a stranger who dwells among you. For on that day the priest shall make atonement for you, to cleanse you, that you may be clean from all your sins before the Lord. It is a Sabbath of solemn rest for you, and you shall afflict your souls. It is a statute forever. And the priest who is anointed and consecrated to minister as priest in his father's place shall make atonement. He shall put on the linen clothes, the holy garments. Then he shall make atonement for the holy sanctuary, and he shall make atonement for the tabernacle of meeting and for the altar. And he shall make atonement for the priest and for all the people of the assembly. This shall be an everlasting statute for you, to make atonement for the children of Israel, for all their sins, once a year. And he did as the Lord commanded Moses. Leviticus chapter 17. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron, to his sons, and to all the children of Israel, and say to them, This is the thing which the Lord has commanded, saying, Whatever man of the house of Israel, who kills an ox or lamb or goat in the camp, or who kills it outside the camp, and does not bring it to the door of the tabernacle of meeting, to offer an offering to the Lord before the tabernacle of the Lord, the guilt of bloodshed shall be imputed to that man. He has shed blood, and that man shall be cut off from among his people. This is so that the children of Israel may bring their sacrifices which they offer in the open field, that they may bring them to the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of meeting, to the priest, and offer them as peace offerings to the Lord. The priest shall sprinkle the blood on the altar of the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of meeting, and burn the fat for a sweet aroma to the Lord. They shall no longer offer their sacrifices to demons, after whom they have played the harlot. This shall be a statute forever for them throughout their generations. Also you shall say to them, Whatever man of the house of Israel, or of the strangers who dwell among you, who offers a burnt offering or sacrifice, and does not bring it to the door of the tabernacle of meeting to offer it to the Lord, that man shall be cut off from among his people. And whatever man of the house of Israel, or of the strangers who dwell among you, who eats any blood, I will set my face against that person who eats blood, and will cut him off from among his people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar, to make atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that makes atonement for the soul. Therefore I said to the children of Israel, no one among you shall eat blood, nor shall any stranger who dwells among you eat blood. Whatever man of the children of Israel, or of the strangers who dwell among you, who hunts and catches any animal or bird that may be eaten, he shall pour out its blood and cover it with dust. For it is the life of all flesh. Its blood sustains its life. Therefore I said to the children of Israel, you shall not eat the blood of any flesh, for the life of all flesh is its blood. Whoever eats it shall be cut off. And every person who eats what died naturally, or what was torn by beast, whether he is a native of your own country or a stranger, he shall both wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. Then he shall be clean. But if he does not wash them or bathe his body, then he shall bear his guilt. Leviticus chapter 18. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, I am the Lord your God. According to the doings of the land of Egypt where you dwelt, you shall not do. And according to the doings of the land of Canaan where I am bringing you, you shall not do, nor shall you walk in their ordinances. You shall observe my judgments and keep my ordinances, to walk in them. I am the Lord your God. You shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man does, he shall live by them. I am the Lord. None of you shall approach anyone who is near of kin to him, to uncover his nakedness. I am the Lord. The nakedness of your father, or the nakedness of your mother, you shall not uncover. She is your mother. You shall not uncover her nakedness. The nakedness of your father's wife you shall not uncover. It is your father's nakedness. The nakedness of your sister, the daughter of your father, or the daughter of your mother, whether born at home or elsewhere, their nakedness you shall not uncover. The nakedness of your son's daughter, or your daughter's daughter, their nakedness you shall not uncover, for theirs is your own nakedness. The nakedness of your father's wife's daughter, begotten by your father, she is your sister. You shall not uncover her nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's sister. She is your father's near kin. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister, for she is your mother's near kin. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's brother. You shall not approach his wife. She is your aunt. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your daughter-in-law. She is your son's wife. You shall not uncover her nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your brother's wife. It is your brother's nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter, nor shall you take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness. They are near of kin to her. It is wickedness. Nor shall you take a woman as a rival to her sister to uncover her nakedness while the other is alive. Also, you shall not approach a woman to uncover her nakedness as long as she is in her customary impurity. Moreover, you shall not lie carnally with your neighbor's wife to defile yourself with her. And you shall not let any of your descendants pass through the fire to Molech, nor shall you profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. Nor shall you mate with any animal, to defile yourself with it. Nor shall any woman stand before an animal to mate with it. It is perversion. Do not defile yourselves with any of these things. For by all these the nations are defiled, which I am casting out before you. For the land is defiled. Therefore I visit the punishment of its iniquity upon it. and the land vomits out its inhabitants. You shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, either any of your own nation or any stranger who dwells among you. For all these abominations the men of the land have done who were before you, and thus the land is defiled, lest the land vomit you out also when you defile it, as it vomited out the nations that were before you. For whoever commits any of these abominations, the persons who commit them shall be cut off from among their people. Therefore you shall keep my ordinance, so that you do not commit any of these abominable customs which were committed before you, and that you do not defile yourselves by them. I am the Lord your God. Leviticus chapter 19. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say to them, You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. Every one of you shall revere his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbaths. I am the Lord your God. Do not turn to idols, nor make for yourselves molded gods. I am the Lord your God. When you offer a sacrifice of a peace offering to the Lord, you shall offer it of your own free will. It shall be eaten the same day you offer it, and on the next day. And if any remains until the third day, it shall be burned in the fire. And if it is eaten at all on the third day, it is an abomination. It shall not be accepted. Therefore everyone who eats it shall bear his iniquity, because he has profaned the holy offering of the Lord. That person shall be cut off from his people. When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not wholly reap the corners of your field, nor shall you gather the gleanings of your harvest. And you shall not glean your vineyard, nor shall you gather every grape of your vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and the stranger. I am the Lord your God. You shall not steal, nor deal falsely, nor lie to one another. And you shall not swear by my name falsely, nor shall you profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. You shall not cheat your neighbor, nor rob him. The wages of him who is hired shall not remain with you all night until morning. You shall not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear your God. I am the Lord. You shall do no injustice in judgment. You shall not be partial to the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. In righteousness you shall judge your neighbor. You shall not go about as a talebearer among your people, nor shall you take a stand against the life of your neighbor. I am the Lord. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall surely rebuke your neighbor, and not bear sin because of him. You shall not take vengeance, nor bear any grudge against the children of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. You shall keep my statutes. You shall not let your livestock breed with another kind. You shall not sow your field with mixed seed, nor shall a garment of mixed linen and wool come upon you. If a man lies carnally with a woman who is a slave betrothed to a man, and who has not at all been redeemed nor given her freedom, there shall be punishment. But they shall not be put to death, because she was not free. And he shall bring his trespass offering to the Lord, to the door of the tabernacle of meeting, a ram as a trespass offering. The priest shall make atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering before the Lord for his sin, which he has committed. And the sin which he has committed shall be forgiven him. When you come into the land and have planted all kinds of trees for food, then you shall count their fruit as uncircumcised. 3 years it shall be as uncircumcised to you. it shall not be eaten. But in the 4th year, all its fruit shall be holy, a praise to the Lord. And in the 5th year, you may eat its fruit, that it may yield to you its increase. I am the Lord your God. You shall not eat anything with the blood, nor shall you practice divination or soothsaying. You shall not shave around the sides of your head, nor shall you disfigure the edges of your beard. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor tattoo any marks on you. I am the Lord. Do not prostitute your daughter to cause her to be a harlot, lest the land fall into harlotry, and the land become full of wickedness. You shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. Do not turn to mediums or familiar spirits. Do not seek after them, to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. You shall rise before the gray-headed and honor the presence of an old man and fear your God. I am the Lord. And if a stranger dwells with you in your land, you shall not mistreat him. The stranger who dwells among you shall be to you as one born among you, and you shall love him as yourself. For you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. You shall do no injustice in measurement, in length, weight, or volume. You shall have honest scales, honest weights, an honest ephah, and an honest hin. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. Therefore you shall observe all my statutes and all my judgments, and perform them. I am the Lord. Leviticus chapter 20. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Again, you shall say to the children of Israel, whoever of the children of Israel, or of the strangers who dwell in Israel, who gives any of his descendants to Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. I will set my face against that man and cut him off from his people, because he has given some of his descendants to Molech, to defile my sanctuary and profane my holy name. And if the people of the land should in any way hide their eyes from the man, when he gives some of his descendants to Molech, and they do not kill him, then I will set my face against that man and against his family. I will cut him off from his people, and all who prostitute themselves with him to commit harlotry with Molech. And the person who turns to mediums and familiar spirits to prostitute himself with them, I will set my face against that person and cut him off from his people. Consecrate yourselves, therefore, and be holy, for I am the Lord your God. And you shall keep my statutes and perform them. I am the Lord who sanctifies you. For everyone who curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He has cursed his father or his mother. His blood shall be upon him. The man who commits adultery with another man's wife, he who commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. The man who lies with his father's wife has uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. If a man lies with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have committed perversion. Their blood shall be upon them. If a man lies with a male as he lies with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. If a man marries a woman and her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burned with fire, both he and they, that there may be no wickedness among you. If a man mates with an animal, he shall surely be put to death. and you shall kill the animal. If a woman approaches any animal and mates with it, you shall kill the woman and the animal. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. If a man takes his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and sees her nakedness, and she sees his nakedness, it is a disgrace, and they shall be cut off in the sight of their people. He has uncovered his sister's nakedness. He shall bear his guilt. If a man lies with a woman during her sickness and uncovers her nakedness, he has exposed her flow, and she has uncovered the flow of her blood. Both of them shall be cut off from their people. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister, nor of your father's sister, for that would uncover his near kin. They shall bear their guilt. If a man lies with his uncle's wife, he has uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin. They shall die childless. If a man takes his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. He has uncovered his brother's nakedness. They shall be childless. You shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments, and perform them, that the land where I am bringing you to dwell may not vomit you out. And you shall not walk in the statutes of the nation which I am casting out before you, for they commit all these things, and therefore I abhor them. But I have said to you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it to you to possess, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, who has separated you from the peoples. You shall therefore distinguish between clean animals and unclean, between unclean birds and clean. And you shall not make yourselves abominable by beast or by bird or by any kind of living thing that creeps on the ground, which I have separated from you as unclean. And you shall be holy to me, for I the Lord am holy, and have separated you from the peoples, that you should be mine. A man or a woman who is a medium, or who has familiar spirits, shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones. Their blood shall be upon them. Leviticus chapter 21. And the Lord said to Moses, Speak to the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say to them, None shall defile himself for a dead person among his people, except for his close relatives, his mother, his father, his son, his daughter, his brother, and his virgin sister who is near to him, who has had no husband. For her he may defile himself. He shall not defile himself, being a chief man among his people, to profane himself. They shall not make any bald place on their heads, nor shave the edges of their beards, nor make any cuttings in their flesh. They shall be holy to their God, and not profane the name of their God. For they offer the offerings of the Lord made by fire, and the bread of their God. Therefore they shall be holy. They shall not take a wife who is a harlot, or a defiled woman, nor shall they take a woman divorced from her husband. For the priest is holy to his God. Therefore you shall consecrate him, for he offers the bread of your God. He shall be holy to you, for I the Lord, who sanctify you, am holy. The daughter of any priest, if she profanes herself by playing the harlot, she profanes her father. She shall be burned with fire. He who is the high priest among his brethren, on whose head the anointing oil was poured, and who is consecrated to wear the garments, shall not uncover his head, nor tear his clothes. Nor shall he go near any dead body, nor defile himself for his father or his mother. Nor shall he go out of the sanctuary, nor profane the sanctuary of his God, for the consecration of the anointing oil of his God is upon him. I am the Lord. And he shall take a wife in her virginity, a widow, or a divorced woman, or a defiled woman, or a harlot. These he shall not marry, but he shall take a virgin of his own people as wife. Nor shall he profane his posterity among his people, for I the Lord sanctify him. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron, saying, No man of your descendants in successive generations who has any defect may approach to offer the bread of his God. For any man who has a defect shall not approach. A man blind or lame, who has a marred face, or any limb too long. A man who has a broken foot or broken hand, a hunchback or a dwarf. A man who has a defect in his eye, or eczema, or scab, or is a eunuch. No man of the descendants of Aaron the priest, who has a defect, shall come near to offer the offerings made by fire to the Lord. He has a defect. He shall not come near to offer the bread of his God. He may eat the bread of his God, both the most holy and the holy. Only he shall not go near the veil or approach the altar, because he has a defect, lest he profane my sanctuaries. For I the Lord sanctify them. So Moses told it to Aaron and his sons, and to all the children of Israel. Leviticus chapter 22. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, that they separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel, which they dedicate to me, and that they do not profane my holy name in those things which they sanctify to me. I am the Lord. Say to them, Whoever of all your descendants throughout your generations goes near the holy things which the children of Israel dedicate to the Lord, while he has uncleanness, that person shall be cut off from my presence. I am the Lord. Whatever man of the descendants of Aaron who is a leper or has a discharge shall not eat the holy offerings until he is clean. And whoever touches anything made unclean by a corpse, or a man who has an emission of semen, or whoever touches any creeping thing by which he would be made unclean, or any person by whom he would become unclean. Whatever his uncleanness may be, the person who has touched any such thing shall be unclean until evening, and shall not eat the holy offerings, unless he washes his body with water. And when the sun goes down, he shall be clean. After that, he may eat the holy offerings, because it is his food. Whatever dies naturally, or is torn by beasts, he shall not eat, to defile himself with it. I am the Lord. They shall therefore keep my ordinance, lest they bear sin for it, and die thereby, if they profane it. I, the Lord, sanctify them. No outsider shall eat the holy offering. One who dwells with the priest or a hired servant shall not eat the holy thing. But if the priest buys a person with his money, he may eat it. And one who is born in his house may eat his food. If the priest's daughter marries an outsider, she may not eat of the holy offerings. But if the priest's daughter is a widow or divorced, and has no child, and has returned to her father's house, as in her youth, she may eat her father's food. But no outsider shall eat it. And if a man eats the holy offering unintentionally, then he shall restore a holy offering to the priest, and add 1/5 to it. They shall not profane the holy offerings of the children of Israel, which they offer to the Lord, or allow them to bear the guilt of trespass when they eat their holy offerings. For I, the Lord, sanctify them. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, and to all the children of Israel, and say to them, Whatever man of the house of Israel, or of the strangers in Israel, who offers his sacrifice for any of his vows, or for any of his free will offerings, which they offer to the Lord as a burnt offering. You shall offer of your own free will a male, without blemish, from the cattle, from the sheep, or from the goats. Whatever has a defect you shall not offer, for it shall not be acceptable on your behalf. And whoever offers a sacrifice of a peace offering to the Lord, to fulfill his vow, or a free will offering from the cattle or the sheep, it must be perfect to be accepted. There shall be no defect in it. Those that are blind or broken or maimed, or have an ulcer or eczema or scabs, you shall not offer to the Lord, nor make an offering by fire of them on the altar to the Lord. Either a bull or a lamb that has any limb too long or too short, you may offer as a free will offering, but for a vow, it shall not be accepted. You shall not offer to the Lord what is bruised, or crushed, or torn, or cut, nor shall you make any offering of them in your land. Nor from a foreigner's hand shall you offer any of these as the bread of your God, because their corruption is in them, and defects are in them. They shall not be accepted on your behalf. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, When a bull or a sheep or a goat is born, it shall be 7 days with its mother. And from the 8th day and thereafter it shall be accepted as an offering made by fire to the Lord. Whether it is a cow or ewe, do not kill both her and her young on the same day. When you offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving to the Lord, offer it of your own free will. On the same day it shall be eaten. You shall leave none of it until morning. I am the Lord. Therefore you shall keep my commandments and perform them. I am the Lord. You shall not profane my holy name, but I will be hallowed among the children of Israel. I am the Lord who sanctifies you, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord. Leviticus chapter 23. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, that they separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel, which they dedicate to me, and that they do not profane my holy name in those things which they sanctify to me. I am the Lord. Say to them, Whoever of all your descendants throughout your generations goes near the holy things which the children of Israel dedicate to the Lord, while he has uncleanness, that person shall be cut off from my presence. I am the Lord. Whatever man of the descendants of Aaron who is a leper or has a discharge shall not eat the holy offerings until he is clean. And whoever touches anything made unclean by a corpse, or a man who has an emission of semen, or whoever touches any creeping thing by which he would be made unclean, or any person by whom he would become unclean. Whatever his uncleanness may be, the person who has touched any such thing shall be unclean until evening, and shall not eat the holy offerings, unless he washes his body with water. And when the sun goes down, he shall be clean. After that, he may eat the holy offerings, because it is his food. Whatever dies naturally, or is torn by beasts, he shall not eat, to defile himself with it. I am the Lord. They shall therefore keep my ordinance, lest they bear sin for it, and die thereby, if they profane it. I, the Lord, sanctify them. No outsider shall eat the holy offering. One who dwells with the priest or a hired servant shall not eat the holy thing. But if the priest buys a person with his money, he may eat it, and one who is born in his house may eat his food. If the priest's daughter marries an outsider, she may not eat of the holy offerings. But if the priest's daughter is a widow or divorced, and has no child, and has returned to her father's house, as in her youth, She may eat her father's food, but no outsider shall eat it. And if a man eats the holy offering unintentionally, then he shall restore a holy offering to the priest and add 1/5 to it. They shall not profane the holy offerings of the children of Israel, which they offer to the Lord, or allow them to bear the guilt of trespass when they eat their holy offerings. For I, the Lord, sanctify them. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, and to all the children of Israel, and say to them, Whatever man of the house of Israel, or of the strangers in Israel, who offers his sacrifice for any of his vows, or for any of his free will offerings, which they offer to the Lord as a burnt offering, you shall offer of your own free will a male without blemish from the cattle, from the sheep, or from the goats. Whatever has a defect you shall not offer, for it shall not be acceptable on your behalf. And whoever offers a sacrifice of a peace offering to the Lord, to fulfill his vow, or a free will offering from the cattle or the sheep, it must be perfect to be accepted. There shall be no defect in it. Those that are blind or broken or maimed, or have an ulcer or eczema or scabs, you shall not offer to the Lord, nor make an offering by fire of them on the altar to the Lord. Either a bull or a lamb that has any limb too long or too short, you may offer as a free will offering. But for a vow, it shall not be accepted. You shall not offer to the Lord what is bruised, or crushed, or torn, or cut, nor shall you make any offering of them in your land. Nor from a foreigner's hand shall you offer any of these as the bread of your God, because their corruption is in them, and defects are in them. They shall not be accepted on your behalf. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, When a bull or a sheep or a goat is born, it shall be 7 days with its mother. And from the 8th day and thereafter, it shall be accepted as an offering made by fire to the Lord. Whether it is a cow or ewe, do not kill both her and her young on the same day. When you offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving to the Lord, offer it of your own free will. On the same day, it shall be eaten. You shall leave none of it until morning. I am the Lord. Therefore you shall keep my commandments and perform them. I am the Lord. You shall not profane my holy name, but I will be hallowed among the children of Israel. I am the Lord who sanctifies you, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord. Leviticus chapter 24. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring to you pure oil of pressed olives for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually, outside the veil of the testimony, in the tabernacle of meeting. Aaron shall tend it from evening until morning before the Lord continually. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. He shall tend the lamps on the pure gold lampstand before the Lord continually. And you shall take fine flour and bake 12 cakes with it. 2/10 of an ephah shall be in each cake. You shall set them in 2 rows, 6 in a row, on the pure gold table before the Lord. And you shall put pure frankincense on each row, that it may be on the bread as a memorial, an offering made by fire to the Lord. Every Sabbath he shall set it in order before the Lord continually, being taken from the children of Israel by an everlasting covenant. And it shall be for Aaron and his sons, and they shall eat it in a holy place, for it is most holy to him from the offerings of the Lord made by fire, by a perpetual statute. Now there was the son of an Israelite woman, whose father was an Egyptian, among the children of Israel. And this son of the Israelite woman and a man of Israel fought in the camp. And the Israelite woman's son blasphemed the name of the Lord and cursed. So they brought him to Moses. His mother's name was Shelemith, the daughter of Dibri, of the tribe of Dan. Then they put him in custody, that the mind of the Lord might be shown to them. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Take outside the camp him who is cursed. Then let all who heard him lay their hands on his head, and let all the congregation stone him. Then you shall speak to the children of Israel, saying, Whoever curses his God shall bear his sin, and whoever blasphemes the name of the Lord shall surely be put to death. Leviticus chapter 25. The Lord spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai, and said that when the people of Israel came into the land he was giving them, the land itself was to keep a Sabbath to the Lord. For 6 years they were to sow their fields, prune their vineyards, and gather their crops. But in the 7th year there was to be a Sabbath of solemn rest for the land. No sowing, no pruning, and no harvesting for profit. Whatever the land produced on its own during that year was to be food for everyone alike, for the landowner, the servant, the hired worker, the foreigner, the livestock, and even the wild animals. The Lord then established the cycle of Jubilee. The people were to count 7 Sabbaths of years, 7 times 7 years, making 49 years. On the 10th day of the 7th month, the Day of Atonement, a trumpet was to sound throughout the land. The 50th year was to be declared holy. Liberty was to be proclaimed throughout the land to all its inhabitants. Each person was to return to his possession, and each was to return to his family. This year was to be a jubilee. During the jubilee year, the land was not to be sown or harvested in the usual way. The people were to eat only what the land produced naturally. Property that had been sold was to return to its original family line. Because the land ultimately belonged to the Lord, the people were only sojourners and stewards upon it. When land was sold, its price was to be based on the number of years remaining until the Jubilee. The more years remaining, the higher the value. The fewer years, the lower the price. No one was to oppress another in these transactions. The people were to fear the Lord and deal honestly with one another. The Lord promised that if the people obeyed his statutes, the land would yield its produce, and they would dwell in safety. If they wondered how they would survive in the 7th year without planting or harvesting, the Lord assured them that he would command his blessing in the 6th year, so that it would produce enough for 3 years. If one of their brothers became poor and sold some of his possession, his nearest relative was to come and redeem what was sold. If he had no one to redeem it but later prospered, he could redeem it himself. If it was not redeemed, the land was still to be returned in the year of Jubilee. Houses in walled cities followed different rules. They could be redeemed within 1 year of sale. If not redeemed within that time, they remained permanently with the buyer and did not return in the Jubilee. However, houses in villages without walls were considered part of the land and returned in the Jubilee. The houses of the Levites were always redeemable, and their property was protected, for the Lord himself was their inheritance. The Lord commanded that if a fellow Israelite became poor, the people were to support him and not take interest or profit from him. They were to fear God and allow their brother to live with them. They were reminded that the Lord had brought them out of the land of Egypt and that they were his servants. not slaves to one another. If an Israelite sold himself into service because of poverty, he was not to be treated harshly. He was to serve as a hired worker until the year of Jubilee. Then he and his children were to be released and returned to their own family and ancestral possession. The people of Israel belonged to the Lord, who had redeemed them. Foreign slaves could be acquired and passed down as inheritance. But Israelites were never to rule over one another with harshness. Even if an Israelite sold himself to a foreigner, he retained the right of redemption. A relative could redeem him, or he could redeem himself if he prospered. The price was to be calculated fairly based on the years remaining until Jubilee. At that time, he and his children were to go free. The Lord concluded by reminding the people that he alone was their God. They were his servants, whom he brought out of the land of Egypt. They were commanded to keep his statutes and judgments, and to walk in them faithfully. Leviticus chapter 26. The Lord warned the people of Israel not to make idols for themselves. They were not to raise carved images, sacred pillars, or engraved stones to bow before them. The Lord alone was their God. They were to keep his Sabbaths and honor his sanctuary. The Lord promised that if they walked in his statutes, kept his commandments, and obeyed them, he would bless them. He would give rain in its season, and the land would yield its produce. Trees would bear fruit. Harvest would follow harvest, and they would eat their fill and dwell in safety. Peace would rest on the land. They would lie down without fear. Harmful beasts would be removed, and no sword would pass through their land. If enemies rose against them, the Lord said they would fall before Israel. 5 would chase 100, and 100 would chase 10,000. The Lord would look upon his people with favor, make them fruitful, and confirm his covenant with them. He would dwell among them and walk in their midst. He would be their God, and they would be his people. He reminded them that he was the Lord who brought them out of Egypt, broke the yoke of their bondage, and caused them to walk upright. But the Lord also warned of the consequences of disobedience. If they did not listen to him, if they despised his statutes and rejected his judgments, then fear, disease, and defeat would come upon them. Their strength would be spent in vain. Their land would not yield its produce, and their enemies would rule over them. Those who hated them would reign, and they would flee, even when no one pursued them. If they still refused to listen, the Lord said he would discipline them 7 times more for their sins. He would break their pride of power. The heavens would become like iron, and the earth like bronze. Their labor would be wasted, and the land would not yield its increase. If they continued to walk contrary to him, he would bring wild beasts among them to rob them of their children, destroy their livestock, and make their roads desolate. If they remained unrepentant, the Lord warned that he would bring the sword upon them. Pestilence and famine would follow. Cities would be besieged. Mothers would eat the flesh of their children in desperation. Sanctuaries would be laid waste, and the Lord would no longer accept their offerings. The land would be left desolate, and their enemies would be astonished by it. Those who survived would be scattered among the nations. Fear would pursue them. They would stumble over one another, as if fleeing from a sword, even when no one chased them. Their hearts would melt, and they would waste away in their enemies' lands because of their iniquities and the iniquities of their fathers. Yet the Lord did not end with judgment alone. He promised mercy. if they confessed their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers, if they humbled their uncircumcised hearts and accepted their guilt, then he would remember his covenant with Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham. He would remember the land. Even when they were in the land of their enemies, the Lord said he would not cast them away completely. He would not break his covenant with them, for he is the Lord their God. For their sake, he would remember the covenant of their ancestors, whom he brought out of Egypt, in the sight of the nations, to be their God. These were the statutes, judgments, and laws which the Lord made between himself and the children of Israel on Mount Sinai, by the hand of Moses. Leviticus chapter 27. The Lord spoke to Moses and gave instructions concerning vows made to him. When a person made a special vow, dedicating someone or something to the Lord, its value was to be set according to an established standard. The valuation differed based on age and gender, ensuring fairness and order in what was offered to the Lord. If the one making the vow was unable to pay the full valuation, the priest was to assess what the person could afford and set the value accordingly. This allowed every vow to be honored without placing an unbearable burden on the one who made it. If a person vowed an animal that was acceptable as an offering to the Lord, that animal became holy. It could not be exchanged or substituted. If someone attempted to substitute it, both the original and the substitute would become holy. If the animal was unclean and not suitable for sacrifice, it could be redeemed at the priest's valuation, with an additional amount added. If it was not redeemed, it would be sold according to the priest's assessment. If someone dedicated his house to the Lord, the priest would assess its value based on its condition. The owner could redeem it by paying the assessed value plus an additional amount. The same applied to fields that were dedicated to the Lord. The valuation of a field depended on how much seed it required and how many years remained until the year of Jubilee. If a person dedicated part of his inherited land to the Lord, it could be redeemed. But if it was not redeemed and was sold to another, it would not return to the original owner in the Jubilee. Instead, it would become the possession of the priests, belonging to the Lord permanently. However, land that a person had purchased, rather than inherited, could not be permanently dedicated. It would return to its original owner in the Jubilee. Every firstborn animal belonged to the Lord already and could not be dedicated as a vow, since it was already his. If it was an unclean animal, it could be redeemed at its valuation, plus an additional amount. If not redeemed, it would be sold according to the priest's valuation. Anything devoted to the Lord in a permanent way, whether a person, animal, or field, could not be redeemed. What was devoted was considered most holy to the Lord. Any person devoted in this manner was not to be redeemed. The Lord also established the tithe. A tenth of everything from the land, whether grain or fruit, belonged to him. A tenth of the herd and the flock also belonged to the Lord. If someone wished to redeem part of the tithe, an additional amount was required. No substitutions were allowed. Whatever passed under the shepherd's rod, the 10th one belonged to the Lord. These were the commandments the Lord gave Moses for the children of Israel on Mount Sinai.